Welcome to this Schooling Online production. This early Stage 1 History for Kids series presents engaging narratives about the past that make learning about history both informative and fun. Over 3 lessons, children in kindergarten learn about personal and family histories. In Lesson 2, we will focus on the key inquiry question, what stories do other people tell about the past? Your child will learn about the different structures of families and family groups and what they have in common. This lesson develops students' understanding of the similarities and differences between different families, past and present. Today's story is Fantastic Families. This is Katie. Today, she is with her friends Haruki and Mia. They have been playing outside in Haruki's beautiful big backyard and are very hot and tired from running around. They sit together cooling off under the shade of a big tree. "I love hanging out with my friends," says Haruki enthusiastically. "Same here," nods Katie. "But luckily, if I need someone to play with at home, I can play with my little brother Tom." "Do you play with your brothers and sisters?" Katie asks Haruki. "In my family, I'm the only child," Haruki explains. "This means I have no brothers and sisters, so I get to spend a lot of time with my parents, and Mummy and Daddy organise play dates, so I can see my friends when I want to play with other children. Do you have any siblings, Mia?" Mia nods. "I'm from a very big family. I have 3 older brothers and some of my cousins also live with us. There are 6 kids all together in my house. It's very noisy, but fun." "That does sound like a lot of fun," Katie replies. Haruki's dad overhears the kids talking from the kitchen where he's making lunch. "There are many different kinds of families," he calls out to them. "Having different numbers of children in the family is just one way that families can be different. Families can also have different numbers of adults living together." Haruki agrees with his dad. "Like how in our family there are 2 adults, my dad and my mum." "My family also only has my mum and dad living with us," Katie smiles. "I have a mum and dad in my family like both of you," Mia contributes. "But we also have my grandparents, uncle and auntie living with us as part of our family. My auntie and uncle are the parents of my cousins who live with us. Aboriginal families like mine are often bigger than other families in Australia. Sometimes parents, children, aunties and uncles and grandparents all live together. We are one big household." "Wow, that's a lot of people," Katie remarks, amazed. "My grandma often comes to visit so we can spend time with her and look after her, but it would be very different having my grandma live in our home." "In the past, Aboriginal families like mine used to live in large groups made up of many families," Mia explains to Katie. "We know this from our elders' stories, history books and old photographs. Today, most of these groups don't live together anymore, but our families are often large. My parents have told me about how in the past many families in Australia were bigger than today. This is because parents had more children than they do nowadays," Haruki adds. "Lunchtime," Haruki's dad calls from the kitchen. Katie, Mia and Haruki run inside and lick their lips hungrily at the delicious meal on the table. "Thank you very much," they all shout excitedly, ready to dig in. As Haruki's dad brings them some water to drink, he says something to Haruki in another language, which Katie does not understand. Katie looks up curiously. "Was your dad speaking another language?" "My dad speaks to me in Japanese at home," Haruki replies proudly. "Sometimes we speak English, especially if other people are here. But my dad is from Japan, so he speaks to me in Japanese most of the time. Katie looks at Haruki admiringly. That's incredible, to speak 2 languages. In my family, we only speak English at home, but I would love to understand Japanese like you. My family also speaks a language other than English at home, Mia adds eagerly. We often speak an Aboriginal language called Upper Arrernte. This language is spoken in a very dry desert area of the Northern Territory, where my family are from. Like Haruki's family, we speak English around other people most of the time, but it is also important for my family to continue speaking our traditional language. Haruki's father joins them at the table for lunch. Many families in Australia speak different languages because the adults have come from other countries or different cultures, where they speak a language that isn't English. It's very special to speak another language at home, he smiles at Mia. Katie beams as she takes a bite of the delicious sushi Haruki's father has made. It's so exciting how families have so many differences in the past and the present, she thinks to herself. In today's lesson, we learned that families are different in many ways, including how many children and how many adults are in the family. Some children live with uncles, aunties, cousins, and grandparents, as well as their parents. In the past, Aboriginal families used to live in groups made up of many families. Other families were larger in the past. This is because families had more children. Families in Australia also often speak different languages at home because they come from another country or a different culture where another language is spoken. We hope you enjoyed this Schooling Online production. Check out the rest of the stories in our Early Stage 1 History for Kids series to improve your child's understanding of the past.